Let's begin today's Vanguard news with Bushiroad speedrunning DZBT05 reveals before the new Reziel and Vugger next week, with Alden and MMe-Glam being the last decks getting new support. Knight of the Great Bokrig well gets all her abilities. If you have no cards in your G zone, while in your hand, you can discard herself, and returning to cards originally from your ide deck in your solo drop zone back to your ide deck face up. If you have a grade 3 or higher Vanguard, to add up to one grade 3 or higher card with a different name than your Vanguard from the top 7 cards of your deck, you return this card to your hand. If you did not add a card with this ability, and when she's put on the Guardian Circle, she gets 5k shields. If you have 3 or more damage, then you can bind a grade 3 or higher card from your solo drop zone, if your opponent has a card in their G zone, to get 10k shields. Holy Messiah, a defensive Keter Sanctuary card that doesn't involve either having certain amounts of rear guards, or calling something at random to the Guardian Circle. On a side note, Bushiroad once again puts an archer class as a shield unit. Those thick thighs indeed save lives. Heavenly Rising Dragon Link a Spear Dragon while on rear guard, gives one of your units 10k power when your other unit is placed on a rear guard that it's on, while you have a grade 3 or higher Alden Vanguard. This is basically a discount rationale in case you can't afford her due to waifu tax. Sometimes I wonder why the hell do I still play Thegria when other Keter Sanctuary decks can now reach the same level of power as her with little investment. Vanguard while on rear guard lets you pay 1 counter blast when your other unit is placed on rear guard that another unit is on in the same column as this unit to retire an opponent's back row rear guard. Bushiroad putting a reminder text so it can still work even when you call the unit over itself may remember the whole blasted Dark Revenger and Orient ruling issue back in Break Ride era. Regardless, Alden mains will probably not use this card as they rather use that counter blast for something better. Knight of Heavenly Drive Dill praise when placed on rear guard by your Alden Vanguard's ability makes you give one of your other units 5k power. That unit gets 10k power instead if she was placed on rear guard that another unit is on. And while on the Guardian Circle, she gets 5k shields if you have a grade 3 or higher Alden Vanguard. That red hair smug smile and bagassets. This card's illustrator must have been a huge Eris fan from jobless reincarnation right down to supporting and protecting her husbando. Heat of the Live hasn't cooled Furio when placed on rear guard or put on the Guardian Circle. Gets 5k power and shields for every 2 of your open rear guard if you have a MMe-Glam Vanguard. As this card's title implies, she's still fired up after seeing MMe-Glam's live, so much so that she's powered up. Glowing Basener Broly while in your drop zone lets you bind herself when your MMe-Glam unit is retired from rear guard by a card's effect to add one of the retired cards to your hand. I don't recall the deck being able to retire their own rear guards, so I'm guessing this is just a way to add back your key cards during your opponent's turn if they decide to retire your rear guards. Finally, MMe-Glam supporting Guitar Grenadine when placed on rear guard from hand lets you pay 1 counter blast to add a card from the same number of MMe-Glam units on your field from the top of your deck. And while on rear guard, you can pay 2 energy and retiring herself if you have a grade 3 or higher MMe-Glam Vanguard to give yourself an effect that turns all of your MMe-Glam units original power to 13k. Take note that you don't have to reveal to your opponent the card you added with her ability, and Blue Kriya can finally hit 4 decent numbers without relying on either player's damage. And that concludes this Vanguard news without the bullshit. Special thanks to my Patreon members for continuing to support my content creation. Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments if MMe-Glam aesthetically feels more of a band deck than any of the Bang Dream collab.